Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Warrington Attitude. This is episode 16. I had to find my number at the top and I found it. I am your host, Brent Piles. I'm now going by the moniker of the Toothless Podcaster because that's my new gimmick. So I am the Toothless Podcaster, Brent Piles. And as you know, I do not come to these things alone. I've got the ballroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than Monday Night Raw. Glenn Abbott, how you doing? I don't ever.
Well, I've survived the week.
You have.
It's been one of those weeks. It started off on Sunday. I tested positive for COVID. And then Monday we recorded. I watched a bit of Raw and thought I'll go to bed Monday or early hours on Tuesday morning. Went in the bedroom and it was underwater. The neighbour's bath had sprung a leak from a pipe or something and it all come through my ceiling. So not only was I not well, I spent 2 nights on the sofa, not being able to get in the bedroom. Finally, yesterday, a plumber came and fixed it.
Well, that's good. Did they get the hole in your ceiling fixed as well?
No, not yet. I've got to wait a couple of weeks for that.
That's okay. At least it's dry.
Everything's dry now, yeah.
So that's good news. Yeah, it's been a hell of a week for Glenn, that's for sure. We were going to do this yesterday, but I had some stuff come up, and Glenn said, well, I've had a hell of a day anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we're here now, and we are going to review the Raw after WrestleMania 13. We want to, of course, thank our buddy Rob from UTT Rob from Unbooking the Territory for joining us and breaking down WrestleMania 13. It was a heck of a good time. We'll have to have Rob back once again. And make sure you give him a follow and check out the UTT podcast. Of course, Glenn will plug all that stuff at the end. So he's got his list.
He will find his napkin. There we go.
You have it written on a napkin, huh? March 24th, Glenn, 1997. We are at the Metro Center in Rockford, Illinois. The Metro Center was built. I put the Metro Center was made. No, okay, I'm sorry. Let me start over. The Metro Center made history in 1986 when it hosted the first test arena football league game between the Chicago Politicians and the Rockford Metros. Glenn, do you have any idea what arena football is?
I think I've seen it on one of these weird sports programs that we used to have where they'd show all sorts of weird stuff goes on.
Yeah, where they
from around the world.
Strong mid competitions with guys like cutting down trees and shit, and then like arena
That's
football.
it. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah. I think they've featured that in there somewhere.
Yeah,
for about this time.
If you don't know what arena football is, it's like football, but inside like a basketball arena, and it's only 50 yards, and they like play inside like it looks like a hockey rink, but it's not. It's basically a waste of fucking time unless you live in a redneck town where all you have is an arena football league. We have an arena football league. We don't have one now, but we did, and I absolutely went to some arena football league games because I live in Nebraska. So yeah, they made history with that. They also used to run house shows and weekly TV shows in the building with WWE, but WWE hasn't actually run a show in this building since June of 2016. So it's been a really long time since they've actually run in this building at all. And I normally, Glenn, tell you if you're going to be in the Rockford area that you can go and see this concert or this show, but they literally don't have shit going on at this arena until hockey season starts. The Chicago Black Farm League team, the Rockford Ice Hogs, play at this arena, and literally that's the only thing they got going on there. So,
all right. This actually sums up WrestleMania 13 because I said to you Rob, when we recorded that didn't really feel like a WrestleMania, and all this is adding to that by the fact that this doesn't really feel like the show leading in from WrestleMania because we're used to it, all the big hype, all the same people on the next night in the same arena, and this is just another Raw.
It was just another Raw, and it wasn't even very good. We reviewed some really good Raws, we reviewed some really bad ones, and this one I wouldn't even put it in the middle. I wouldn't say it was one of the worst ones, but it wasn't even one of like the okay ones. It wasn't even okay.
No. If it was, it wouldn't be like the bottom 3, but it would just be hanging around outside the relegation zone.
Yes. It would be like It would be like in the Premier League. You didn't get pushed out of the league. You weren't bad enough to go down to the bottom league, but you also weren't good enough to do anything else. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah, that is exactly it.
In football terms. I did think that it felt bigger when the show opened with the fireworks, and like there were so many signs in the crowd. Like there was lots of signs in the crowd. It really kind of felt like Attitude Era times.
That was my first note before it actually started, was how really hyped the crowd were.
Yeah,
with all the signs and everything. And
I absolutely noticed. Yeah, I definitely noticed it too. There was a whole bunch of signs.
Yeah,
like a lot more than there has been. Like it really felt like we were getting really toward like the Attitude Era with all the signs in the crowd. But then the show started, Glenn.
To be fair, it started off all right.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
You know, you start off with the Headbangers against Owen and Davey for the tag team titles. That's not a bad way to start a show.
No, it really isn't. No,
because it's not Furnace on the phone for one thing.
And also, Glenn, they told us at WrestleMania, though, the Headbangers win the 4-way, they're going to get a match with Bulldog and Owen for the championship.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what they give us in the first
match. What happens.
And then they also let us know that the winner of this match will be facing LOD at the next In Your House pay-per-view, which good luck to whoever has to do that. And I think we made this point when we were talking with Rod, too, about, and we'll get to later on about how I'm wrong about this, but they seem to be downplaying the problems between Davey and Owen at this point. They did it at WrestleMania. They're kind of doing it now because they were doing a lot of quick tags and a lot of in and outs. I know, Glenn. We'll get to the end of the match where I'm going to be completely wrong.
No. Before, as they were coming to the ring, there was a lot of sort of trying to upstage each other. One with the 2 belts and one with the 2 slammies, trying to get. And every time that Davey went to take applause from the crowd, Owen would push him out the way. And
maybe I just see that from Owen so much I didn't even realize it because I didn't even recognize it at all. Yeah, and then during this, of course, Glenn, we can't do anything without a side-by-side. So we got a promo from Hawk and Animal. And now they always have really weird promos, but this one was extra weird. So let's hear it.
Well, Vince, let me tell you something. We came to WWF with one purpose. We want the title. We don't care if it's the Headbangers. We don't care if it's the Bulldog and you, Owen Hart. We're going to kick your butts and be the greatest WWF champions of all time. Tell them, Hawk. Well, we're looking to rip out some medulla oblongata. The brainstem gets rid of all the motor skills. After you get that out, it's finished.
Just one question before we leave you, and this will go to Hawk. What happened to that kitchen sink you brought to the ring last night?
Well, you know the old saying, everything but the kitchen sink. It was there, and I was happy to have it. The next time, we need something other than stainless steel. I'm not into stainless steel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What the fuck?
He's not into stainless steel.
It was the thank you. It was just so weird.
He's definitely not into stainless steel.
No, I guess not. He doesn't like stainless steel. That was really weird. I didn't think we'd get into Hawk's sink preferences in this show, but we did.
I suppose it's lucky the Headbangers aren't around. Not the Headbangers. The Nasty Boys aren't around anymore.
Yeah, he's lucky there.
They would have been.
That's
yeah,
absolutely would have. So Bulldog ends up crashing into Owen while Owen was kind of jarred with the crowd, and then Bulldog almost gets rolled up, and then they start yelling at each other, and then Owen finally tells Davey, I don't need this, and he leaves. So that leaves Davey to go alone, at least only for a little while, because Owen did eventually come back down to the ring. As a matter of fact, I think they went to commercial. By the time they came back, he was already back.
That's it. But just before the LOD promo, they showed how good a tag team they could be, where Davey picked Owen up and slammed him onto whichever. Oh, I think it's onto Thrasher.
Yeah, one of the guys one of the bald guy with the skirt on. Yeah, it was that guy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I had that in my notes too. They did a lot of really cool like tandem tag team moves at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, I got one note here as well that Davey turned a headbanger into a shuttlecock.
Oh God, yeah, he did.
He picked him up and turned him upside down, just like a shuttlecock.
Yeah, he really did. Yeah. This was a pretty good opening match. Good ring work from both teams. The Headbangers are always fun to watch whenever we watch them in there because they do like really unique stuff for the time. They're kind of really ahead of their time. I don't know if the headbanger gimmick would really work for them nowadays, but I think the way they wrestle would.
Oh yeah, they are really good. And if you think about it, considering that there was a sort of vacuum left, it's a strange thing to say, but with the Nasty Boys going to WCW, it had sort of left a vacuum in that tag division. The Headbangers filled that little vacuum quite well.
I'm just saying, if anybody's pissing in sinks now, it's the motherfucking Headbangers.
Headbangers, yeah.
So the Bulldog and Owen are fighting with each other a lot during this match. Bulldog hits a power slam on Thrasher, and he tries to put Owen on for the pin. But then they get into like a shoving match, and eventually they push down the referee. So surprise, surprise, Glenn, this match ends in a disqualification.
Again, as usual.
Yeah, because that's what Owen and the Bulldog do with their tag team title matches. They end by disqualification.
That's how they never lose.
That's how they never lose them. Owen gets on the mic and he says he's tired of carrying the Bulldog. He's the captain of the team and he can beat him anytime he wants, and basically challenges him for a European title shot, and then calls him gutless. Bulldog says a lot of the same stuff, and pretty much we're going to have an Owen Hart British Bulldog European title match next week.
I actually can't remember what happened to the tag titles. I'm interested to see what goes on with that.
Yeah, I really don't remember either. They will be facing LOD at the next pay-per-view. That much I can tell you, but otherwise I don't know.
Yeah.
We now go back to Mankind in the Boiler Room. I guess he's the number one contender. He continues to say that someone's gone, and I guess Uncle Paul has left Mankind, and he wants him to come back.
Yeah. He's gone. He's gone.
The funny part was he was like, Uncle Paul, come back. Don't make me come find you. Which wasn't weird. That was Mankind saying it to Paul Bearer, not Paul Bearer saying it to Mankind, because when I was trying to do a Mankind impression, I totally went Paul Bearer there, and I don't know why.
It went Paul Bearer, but there's not a lot of it, really.
There really isn't. Yeah, there really isn't. Then we get Bret Hart's on the Titantron, and he's got a lot to say and wants his time. Will you give me some time? Come on, I need my time. You say I'll have my time. And this is kind of like a running theme throughout the show. Bret Hart needs his goddamn time. And he's going to fucking get it. A lot of it.
Yeah.
A whole fucking lot of it.
Certainly is.
But the next match we get is Bart Gunn taking on Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And, of course, he's got China with us. They informed us that Marlena has some bruised ribs from the attack at WrestleMania by China. And, of course, she fucking does.
Yeah, outstanding moment of this match was when China slammed Billy Bart Gunn.
Yeah, no, it really was.
She picked up and put him down like a good one.
She did it like she was Braun Breaker. It was nothing.
Yeah.
Of course, Glenn, they show us a split screen promo with Goldust, who says he'll be taking on Hunter next week, and he says Hunter will never forget the name of. No, he said Marlena. He said
Marlena. Oh, yeah,
Marlena. Yeah. And then, like Glenn said, China pretty much beat the crap out of Bart Gunn behind the referee's back, then tossed him in the ring. Then Hunter hit a pedigree, and that was it.
Yeah, that's it.
And that was it.
That was the show. That's it. That's it, folks. Bye. See you next week.
What do you mean, Glenn? Next up, we've got a 6-man tag team match that looks straight out of the movie Three Ninjas. If you're an American person, you'll know the Three Ninjas movies, and that's what these motherfuckers look like. I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
My notes on this were unpronounceable 6-man lucha match is more like an episode of the Power Rangers.
Yes, I put that. I said, now I guess the Kiss Demon is tagging with the fucking Power Rangers. What the fuck is going on? And then their opponents, the Kiss Demon and the fucking Power Rangers, come out. We got the Yellow Pineapple, the Bluer Blazer, and the Apple Martini. And I'm only calling them that because I can't pronounce the other fucking names.
No. Oh, dear. I know that Vince was trying to suck up to AAA, but this is not the way to do it. You had all these little lucha guys. Some of them smaller than mini Gold Dust from the other week.
Yeah, no shit.
Bouncing around. There were several botches. It wasn't even a good lucha match.
It was like fucking. Like, you remember, like, when you were a kid, you could get, like, the pay-per-view channels, and it would be, like, through the lines in the screen, and you couldn't really make out what it was. It was like watching that, but if it was all in color. If it was just a bunch of colors.
Yeah.
I was gonna have a fucking seizure. Bret Hart gets on the goddamn screen again, and he wants his time. He wants to know when he's gonna have his time. He needs his time. And Vince says, "God damn it, you'll get your time." And then from there, the yellow pineapple, the blue blazer, and the apple martini got the win. So I don't know what else to tell you.
The highlight of this match was Vince, where one of them picked one up and slammed him, and Vince says in his own inimitable way of calling technical matches, "That's one made to get a man on his back." Of course it is. It's a slam.
Well, he wasn't sure what to say, just like I wasn't sure what to say about this match. I don't know. Where's JR? Was JR even there? I don't even remember.
JR was there, but even he was quiet during it.
He's like,
what am I supposed to call this?
Literally, when those guys came up on my screen, I'm like, am I watching the fucking Disney Channel? What's happening? Next up, we hear from Rocky Maivia and his father. They have some sort of weird back and forth conversation. And I really can't put it into words myself, so I guess we'll just let them
do it. Yeah.
Let them do it.
You got that right. First of all, last night at WrestleMania 13 will be a night I will never forget for the rest of my life. When I looked up and saw my dad, I could not believe my eyes. But at the same time, Dad, you promised me and we made a pact.
We sure did. And I want to say this. I flew all the way up here from Tampa, Florida. I bought my own ticket. I paid my own ticket to get into this arena. Maybe Vince McMahon would have given me a ticket. On the other hand, maybe he wouldn't have. But that's immaterial. You know, I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to be there. This was so important to me. You carry the family name. You carry your grandfather's name. You carry my name. And I sat in that crowd and I watched you and I was so proud. But then when I saw those three guys jump you, any man that has feelings for his son is not going to stand out there and watch three guys try to hurt you. And that's what they tried to do. And I just lost it. I came in to help you. Now, I promise you, I will never interfere in your matches again.
Well, thank you, Dad.
Yeah, you ain't hurting my cash cow.
Right. And also, if he was just a fan in the crowd, where was fucking security? He was just allowed to hit the ring?
Yeah.
I guess he is Rocky Johnson, though. Who's really going to stop him if he wants to go over? But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was weird. not as weird as the whole back and forth with Hawk and Vince about the stink. That was very strange.
Yeah.
And Glenn, we all have a cross to bear, and our cross to bear on this show is the fucking honky tonk man.
It's so man.
Go a week without him. It doesn't matter, Glenn. We cannot go a week without him. Even if it's a fucking pay-per-view, he shows up every fucking week. Germany, he's there every fucking week.
He even manages to get sleazy over the Funkettes. He was the cool and the Honkettes.
God damn it. If you ask me, Glenn, those Funkettes are the real winner, or the real Miss Slammies. They're the Miss Slammies in my eyes because they were the only one that did anything interesting.
Well, that's a matter of opinion, but yeah.
I guess that is, yeah. Guess that's true. They do the whole dance all the way to the ring again. Yippee skippy. And Flash Funk is taking on the Brooklyn Brawler.
Brawler. Yeah, nice to see the Brawler.
It's good to see old Steve Lombardi out there working. Yeah. He also got a lot more offense in this match than I ever thought he would, which wasn't a lot, but he got a little bit.
No, it was a quick match.
Definitely was. I always have fun watching Flash Funk once he stops dancing and starts wrestling.
Yeah. Well, the Brawler certainly did because the Brawler attacked him before he even stopped dancing.
Well, thank God for the Brooklyn Brawler. If only he had started beating him up on the ramp, this would have been a lot easier.
Yeah.
And so Flash Funk gets the 450 splash and gets the win. And I don't think we've seen him win a match. I think this is the first match we've seen Flash Funk win. I don't think we've ever seen him win.
No. I was supposed to somebody has to beat the Brawler.
They were like, goddamn, let's get him a win. Who can he beat?
Yeah.
Well, put Steve out there. Put Lombardi out there. Why not? Fuck it. Next up, we talk to Ken Shamrock, who tells us why he stopped the match. He says once a man is unconscious and cannot defend himself, he had to stop the match. They asked him if he ever heard Austin quit, and he said no, he did not ever hear Austin quit, but had to stop the match because he did not defend himself. They asked him about his opinion of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he says that he doesn't really care for him much as a person, but he is one of the toughest guys that Ken Shamrock has ever seen. So they're really pushing Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Certainly are. And it wasn't a bad promo from Shamrock.
No, not at all. I always thought they could have done more with Shamrock. I always thought, like, when Austin was doing his thing and McMahon needed a real mercenary, I don't know why that couldn't have been more Ken Shamrock. You know
oh yeah, they could have really made him into a Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, they could
at the time.
Because,
He
like,
was before his time.
And like we said here, it's not like Kenny couldn't cut a promo. He could cut a decent promo.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad promo. So I think he could have really excelled in that heel role and being like a heel against Austin. That would have been great, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, especially as an enforce of, as you say, for the authority.
Which they kind of did have him as that, but he was more like a joke. And he got beat all the time, which they shouldn't have done. He should have not gotten beaten for like
He's supposed to be the world's most dangerous man.
Right. Exactly. So next up, Bret Hart is finally going to get his time to tell everyone what he's got to say.
Yes.
And oh boy, did he. This went on for about 20 minutes. I'll play a little bit of it, but I'm not going to play it all because Glenn will fall asleep, and I'll fall asleep, and we'll all fall asleep, and no one will ever listen to this show again, and I won't blame them. And I'm not like trying to disparage what Bret Hart did here. It wasn't terrible, but he just said a lot of the same things that he said 100 times already.
Yeah.
So let's hear from it a little bit. And Shawn Michaels is going to come out here too, and you're going to hear a little bit of what both of them had to say in this promo that I
enjoyed what Shawn Michaels had to say.
Streak like Stone Cold Steve Austin and beat him to a bloody pulp, even though he knows, and you all know, that he lost. You cheer him on the way back to the dressing room like he won. You cheered on a pretty boy like Shawn Michaels, and you allowed him to screw me out of the World Wrestling Federation Championship belt. The World Wrestling Federation needs a hero. They need a role model. They need somebody they can look up to, somebody that poses for girly magazines. So I found this calling for myself to come back and set the record straight and clean up the World Wrestling Federation. After being screwed over by everybody in the World Wrestling Federation, after being abandoned by all you good fans right here in the United States of America, it's obvious to me that all you American wrestling fans coast to coast, you don't respect me. Well, the fact is, I don't respect you. The American wrestling fans coast to coast can kiss my...
I have tried and tried and tried to take the high road. Now, I am in no shape to wrestle, and I know, you're tougher than me, blah, 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 the whole thing. I admit that, that's fine. I don't have to be number one, Brett. I don't obsess like you do. I do this because I like it. You do it because in your mind, Mark Man, you really think all of this is yours. By the way, how'd you know I was in that girly magazine? You couldn't help. You couldn't help yourself, could you? You had to flip through the pages just a little bit.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that was a really good into it. Which Bret Hart wasn't very happy to hear that at the end, and so he attacked Shawn Michaels, and he does that thing where he puts him in the figure four around the ring post, which I always loved. I mean, I hated that when I was younger because I hated Bret Hart at this time. But looking back at it now, that's just such a fucking cool sight to see, that figure four around the ring post. And then who of all people can make the save? It's Psycho.
We get a hero. A hero arrives.
Psycho Sid.
And Brett runs for the hills, as he should do.
Right, as anyone who was being chased down by a madman like Psycho Sid would do. And so he talked about the WrestleMania show, like we didn't understand why they had to do the Brett run-in stuff, and I still don't think it was the right decision, but it does look like they were going to move toward a Sid Bret Hart match or whatever, because it looks like what they're setting up right now. But I do know that Sid's going to come up injured, and that's why that never actually takes place. As some further looking into this that I found out, so that's why they never actually had a feud. But they did have Bret Hart Sid planned for a feud, because I guess Sid was going to be the savior of America after he'd just been a heel forever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bret Hart finally gets his time, and now Bret Hart has solidified himself as an anti-American hating heel. What do you think about that?
It's Sid. It's Sid. I wish it had happened. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. Yeah. Bret's had more face and heel turns than Big Show.
I don't know. Bret Hart was a babyface for a long time, though.
Yeah, but They always try to sell him as the foreigner from Canada.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I remember this Bret Hart Canada USA thing being really, really good, but I also was very young when I watched it, so I guess we'll see what it's like as an adult.
Yeah.
Next up, we get Rocky Maivia taking on Leif Cassidy, and I might be crazy, but I swear to God, we've seen this one before. We watched Rocky Maivia and Leif Cassidy on a Raw, like within the last 6 weeks.
I'm sure we have. I think it was just a couple pre-WrestleMania.
Yeah, I want to say you're right. They come back from commercial. The match is already in the ring and taking place. Bret Hart makes his way back down to the ring because he hasn't said enough already. They also show Rene Goulet. We always have to give the Rene Goulet sightings in there for Rob. He loves Rene Goulet. We see Rene Goulet and Blackjack Mulligan helping Shawn Michaels with his injured knee in the back also during this match because we can't have a match without any split screen. We have to have a split screen. It must be done.
Yes. Yeah. And then poor old Leif Cassidy, for some reason, gets attacked by Bret Hart.
You got it backwards, Glenn. He attacked Rocky Maivia.
Oh, did he? Oh.
Yeah, he starts beating up Rocky Maivia.
Rocky has a match. Oh, yeah, it's me reading my notes wrong. Rocky has a match with Leif Cassidy, then gets attacked by Bret Hart. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this match had nothing to do with the match at all. It was more about Bret Hart getting out here and doing more of his new heel gimmick. Rocky ends up winning the match, and then Bret gets into the ring and starts beating Rocky up. Bret's flipping off fans as he leaves the ring, and that's pretty new. They weren't really flipping people off back then.
This is like apart from the first tag match, it was just another match to stretch this out for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, they could have done this as a half-hour promo show.
They really, really could have.
With the tag match, and that would have been perfect.
Yeah, it really would have. And I don't know, this whole entire show, man. I was excited going into it because the Raw leading into Mania was good. The WrestleMania 13 wasn't great, but like we talked about on the show, if they had placed the matches different, I think people would look at it in a different light than they do now. Yeah. And then, so I expected this to be at least decent, and it fell so flat, and I was so disappointed.
Well, it's proven that by the next match because we've come from WrestleMania. It's hit the reset button. You're going into a new season. Who have we got in a match? It's Ahmed Johnson against bloody Savio Vega and the Nation of Domination.
So then it doesn't look like this feud is going to be going away anytime soon, as we foreseen that would happen when we talked about it at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably the second or third time we watched Ahmed and Savio Vega wrestle. And while Savio's a pretty good worker, Ahmed really isn't.
No. I even gave up making notes on this. Basically, the only note I got on this is it's another DQ loss for the Nation because they all attacked Ahmed again.
Yeah, they basically he has Savio Vega in a position where he's going to put him in the Pearl River Plunge, and I think they just pulled Savio out of the ring this time.
Yeah,
they kept saying on commentary because I guess Farouk's in the hospital.
Yes, yeah.
They didn't say medical facility; they said hospital.
Yeah, hospital, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so they were acting like as if they couldn't make any moves because Farouk wasn't there to tell them to make moves, so they went to the ring to fight him. Which didn't make any sense to me because if you still got 8 and he's got 1, why wouldn't you beat him up anyway? Oh, because Farouk didn't tell us to. If he was here, I think he would have told you to.
And you got Crash at the beginning of that, who could do it on his own.
Exactly. I have to put in my notes. Was it just me, or was this match really, really boring? No, Glenn. No, Glenn said the same thing. This match was terrible, not good. After the match, Ahmed gets on the mic and he has a deal for the Nation. One hell of a deal, too.
Yeah.
He wants to face one of them in a match.
Bye, Ahmed.
And if he wins, he wants the Nation to disband. They don't give him an answer, but I think the Nation would be very dumb to take that deal.
Yeah.
Like when he said he had a deal, I thought it was going to be like something. And he's like, I want to face one of you in a match, and if I win, you guys disband. Why would they agree to that?
Yeah. He's got to put something on the line. If it was a loser leaves town match, then
maybe. Yeah, but he's just like, no, I just want to beat one of y'all.
Yeah.
I want to beat the one little white rapper guy, and then I want you guys to take a hike. What do you think? Is that fair? I think that's fair.
Or the big black guy that he keeps putting through tables.
Oh yeah, or that guy. Yeah. One of those two. Not Crush. Not Savio. I'm tired of fighting Savio. I've done it too many times. So fans of Portal. Yeah. So I just thought it was very strange. We're supposed to hear be talking to the Undertaker, but we see Paul Bearer instead, and Vince asks Paul Bearer what he wants, and Paul Bearer, like a child, says, "I want to talk to you. You know I want to talk to, and I want to talk to you."
That's exactly And of course, we finally coming to the end of this. So, I'm glad you put that in there.
Shit show.
Shit show. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. And they've been hyping it up all the way through. We're gonna get a chat from the Undertaker at the end.
We didn't, did we?
No. Now they've wasted all this time during all this show to run out of time before they could do anything with the Undertaker and Paul Bearer.
The funniest thing for me is like the Undertaker's first coming out here, and Vince is used to going the most exciting, the most electrifying, and he's not sure what words to choose to over the Undertaker. So he changed, like he started and then he stopped and then he started and then he stopped and then he finally figured out where he wanted to go, and then he said the World Wrestling Federation champion, the Undertaker. But he gave it 2 tries before he finally got there.
Yeah, Vince wasn't having the best of nights either. I think he'd lost the will to live by this point.
Like, I just want to go home. And everybody was wearing like a really weird hat. I just didn't understand why he was wearing the weird hat. And like,
no, it was a sort of a strange cowboy hat I'd never seen him wear before.
Right. It was like it's like if I saw the Undertaker now in a cowboy hat, in 2023, I wouldn't be surprised. But back then, I'm like, why is he wearing that?
Yeah. He'd forgotten his fedora and somebody just handed him that. I'll stick that on.
Yeah, and so then he talks for a couple of minutes about his match with Mankind, and he talks about how his title reign last time was short. And then Paul Bearer starts making his way down to the ring, and he says, "If you want to beat me up, then I guess you'll have to do what you have to do, but listen to me for a minute." And then they show Mankind up on the big screen, and he's Uncle Paul, I need you, and Uncle Paul is oblivious to all this. Oh, Undertaker! And then that's it. Show's over.
Yeah. Just end it.
Yep. Just like that. It's over.
We've wasted all that time and we just couldn't complete the show.
Nope. Because we just had
That's summed it up, really.
For 25 minutes.
That's just summed it up, really.
Yeah. So that's the end of this episode of Monday Night Raw, which was a goddamn chore.
And as a song of the time went, things could only get better.
It can't get any fucking worse. That's for sure. That is a goddamn short. I was thinking, this review isn't going to go longer than 35, 40 minutes because the show sucked.
Yeah, that's right.
This episode of Raw is like the Slammy Awards. Listen to our review. Don't watch it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they could have summed all this up in 36 minutes, and we just did. So,
yeah, they could. That is exactly.
So, Glenn, what do we need to plug before we get out of here?
I'll start differently this week. We go through. Give them a listen. DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc. Don't expect them to talk a lot of wrestling. They do occasionally mention bits and pieces, but
it depends if there's an AEW premium live event coming up or not.
Yeah, DC tries to taunt Doc with talk of WWE as well.
And Doc says, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. The Bang Bang podcast with Andy, the British equivalent of a work in progress. That's I've been on there a couple of times. It's a very amusing show. Give him a listen. And of course, DT, as we spoke of earlier, the Unbooking the Territory with UTT Rob and Danny. They're not only doing their main show, which covers the first and last of wrestling, but they're also covering the Being the Elite Gator Golf Tournament. It's a nice little pocket-sized show to listen to if
Yeah.
you've got 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah.
They're coming to the end of their life and times of Tank Abbott, called Unbooking the Tankatory. And of course, if you're a sci-fi fan, check out the Doctor Who podcast with Danny and Si. They've done a really good job with this week's one. It's a weird one from the Tom Baker era of Doctor Who. So give them a listen. They cover both new and old Who alternate weeks, giving a really balanced review of the shows.
Well, that's it. That's all Glenn's got to plug. Make sure you check out Sports Wire Radio and give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on Twitter. It's Thomas Bryce 2017, and on Instagram is Thomas Bryce 2020. Make sure you give the Sports Wire Radio YouTube channel a subscribe. Make sure you give our YouTube channel a subscribe. We are currently at 131 subscribers, and we are trying to get to 200. We're actually trying to get to 1 million, but we're trying to get to 200 first. So give us a subscribe there. There's always cool stuff up there. I put shorts from our Mayor of Canton worldwide shows up there, and there's always pay-per-view hype videos. All our premium live event preview shows are up on there too, so check that out. And give our buddy, the other third member of our podcast team here, the Mayor of Canton, a follow at Mayor of Canton on Twitter, where he will give you great fast food advice like put Arby's sauce on a hot dog. I'm gonna have to try that out. That sounds fucking delicious. So that's it. I don't think, is there anything else I need to plug, Glenn?
Nope, that's it.
Check out a couple UK Heritage, of course, if you don't do that already. That is also on YouTube. That's it. Now I got it all, Glenn. Now there's the only thing left for us to do, and that's for you to say goodbye.
Goodbye.